This is the Healey Brothers Show.
This is the wrap-up of all the automotive news related to our brands for the month of October, because now we're into November. So the first thing I want to start off with, Jay, we're going to run down the three things from Chevy. And the first thing was about the 2025 Colorado, where they slimmed down on their engine offering. So if you want to just touch on what they did and probably why they did it.
I mean, so the simplest way to put it, they did it for efficiencies in their factory, which way will keep prices stable and help consumers in the long run. Plus, now consumers, they're seeing that they do want a bigger motor, more efficient motor, but they don't need all the bells and whistles in the car. So that's kind of, I think, where they're going at that. Do I know their secret magic or what they're saying inside? They'll probably never tell you, even at our meetings. But what they're doing is just going with a 310 horsepower, 2.7 liter motor, all the way across. So the ZR2 all the way down to their base model. I think overall it's good for the consumer. There's a lot of people that use that truck that want the benefit of that extra punch and that drivability, that don't need the crazy stuff inside the truck. I think that's the simplest way to put it. And they really did I would think they did a really hard look at who's their buyer on that vehicle. And they
probably a lot of statistics they looked at.
Yeah. So
I mean, Car and Driver said that by all means it was a good thing.
Yeah, when Car and Driver said it's good, it's actually
their reasoning was that now you only have a few decisions you have to make, right? Because like you said, all the way from ZR2 to the base is going to come with the same engine and transmission. So now it's just about like what equipment are your needs, and then what color do you want. You don't have to make any other decisions outside of that.
I mean, also look at the brands that do it, that are some of the best brands in the world. Honda and Toyota, they keep everything super simple.
They do the same thing?
No, they're the most efficient.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Efficient builders.
I really looked into how they do
if not the best. Granted, we don't have those brands.
Engine offerings across.
Yeah, they do it a lot. They keep it simple with what's in the vehicle. They're known as sometimes being too boring, but they're so efficient. They have great resale value. I was just reading an article on it today, but I think these other legacy brands like Ford, Chevy, when they're doing these things to simplify and really studying their buyer, they're helping their brand. I think just so many times there's so many different options, so many different variations that it becomes confusing for a consumer. So I think
I wonder if they'll do it with some other models.
I would see it coming. I mean, you get hints of it at meetings, like what they're planning on doing to streamline efficiencies at the factories, because it really helps the dealer. Because if they know a simpler way to move a vehicle, but you're getting the best out of what the consumer wants, it's like a no-brainer, healthy mix. We just get too crazy sometimes, I think, with some of these brands. But
so that was a cool
I think
thing they did.
This is a really cool, especially a growing segment, is that small pickup, I like to call it, and it's a super, super hot product for us and the consumer. It's best of both worlds. You get like a nice little truck.
100%. Next, another pickup truck, the 2025 Silverado EV. This was something that we knew. Yeah, this is something we knew was going to happen, that was going to have a cheaper option. Because the first year, I mean, a lot of automakers do it with EVs especially.
Because they're super expensive.
They only offer like one type of trim level in that first model year. So Chevy only offered the RST First-Edition, and they were a hefty price tag, like $90,000 plus, right? So it's not like they were necessarily readily affordable, and there weren't really that many of them. So this was expected, but now the LT is going to be available for 2025, and it's going to come in at $75,195, and it's going to be eligible for the $7,500 federal tax credit.
Yeah, I mean, which is great. I mean, they're really thinking of the consumer here. Also, they're testing the waters to see likability of a truck. I mean, the truck is a beast.
It's insane.
I think it really, really competes with that Cybertruck. I think it's better looking than the Cybertruck
It's got character to it.
Yeah, in my opinion, has that more of a feel. We'll see how this performs to the consumer, but price point is huge.
It's still expensive, but
it's definitely
a $15,000, $20,000 difference compared to the RST. So for people that want it, that is a massive difference.
Yeah, and you still get the mile range, which is huge. So you have that
408 miles.
You have that range anxiety that kind of goes away, because you can get that base model, save yourself some money, and not have that range anxiety, which is like still the number one killer in people's minds.
And this might not even wind up being the base model, because Chevy offers their LSs and whatnot. So I don't know if they're going to have another one that they release after this that might even be cheaper, because this is the LT. I'm not really too sure.
Yeah. So also,
I mean, they have the work truck, but that's only available for Is that only available for fleets? I don't think customers can buy the
So they hinted it. GM is being a little confusing, but back to...
Because I've only seen like one of them that's getting like work done on it. I've never even actually seen us be able to.
Yeah, I think
sell
it's
one.
going to like those majority going to those like the companies like Amazon and those kind of commercial. But back to this, so GM and Chevy, they keep everything to the core, but also when they become more efficient at building EVs, then you'll get more models and price range on them. They're very expensive to build right now because the lithium and all that, and like the whole process to get all the materials is crazy expensive. There's a lot more chips in them, super expensive. But another thing that GM's doing right now is kind of getting a piece of the whole supply chain to lower the cost of vehicles. So I think they made a deal with battery plants to now develop battery technology and move it along. So this way they're able to get more efficient pricing. So when they go to produce these models, they can pass on that savings to the consumer.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And you'll read about that. I think NADA posted an article today about it. I forget who did it, but you could probably find it in there. I'll forward it. And they talk about how they're trying to get the whole cycle of life so they could really understand and lower the cost so they don't get stuck with, hey, supply and demand issues where the prices spike. Now they can have a little controlled variation and keep pricing stable because when they build these cars, they're so expensive that they have to pass it on, or they won't be able to stay afloat.
Yeah, that's a good
And that being said, they're still making good money on their other vehicles, but this helps the dealer if they get the right price point, so they can make more money, make vehicles more efficient, and then pass it on to the consumer at the end of the day. Because if the consumer doesn't buy it, then there's really no point to build it. So.
That's really cool. It's a good idea. I mean, if you want to talk about, like, I guess you say Tesla has a similar analogy or idea with the supply chain thing.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it's themselves that do every step of the process.
He's also the most brilliant man.
So it allows them to simplify their pricing because they are almost every step of the process for it. So if other brands like Chevy or General Motors can kind of adopt that same strategy, that's massive.
Yeah, I think we're realizing like it has to be done this way to figure out the best possible way for the consumer.
No,
because
that's amazing.
You can't just keep pricing the consumer out. Especially with rates, but I think everything you're starting to understand. And Chevrolet, I'll give them so much credit. I think they've done a phenomenal job with price range, not just on the EVs, but their other models. And we talked about it a bunch. Like
Trailblazer,
they're spot on with it now, and they figured it out at a nice price range at every single model they have, which is great.
Yeah. Now, something that's not a cheap car, really not much to talk about with it, but 233 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell?
I mean, even when you sent this to me, I've been watching it, but I didn't know they hit this.
The first was like
I said it to my dad, and he was like, holy shit. Like,
I could be wrong. I think the first time they really took it on track was like 212 miles an hour. I could be wrong. I don't remember the exact number. It was something like that. And then that's most of the reason why they hit 233 miles an hour.
Just looking at number on paper, and it's coming from a Chevrolet is like
insane. I remember being a kid and playing Forza with the Bugatti Veyron. It was so cool because I forget it hit 225, or maybe it was more than that. It was like so cool, like a Bugatti Veyron. I used to see like a Corvette in 233. That's just insane.
I mean, and the best part is it looks badass as hell too. Like
now, what is the Zora gonna do?
I mean, they're just on a mean streak Chevrolet with this.
What is Zora gonna do? I know that thing's gonna take a while.
My dad's gonna have a whole garage full of just Corvettes.
Why not? If they're gonna just offer different things for him to try out, like.
Yeah, this one's going to be super exciting. I think it's really going to get people to look at.
Are going to be tough.
I get supercars are beautiful and they're pieces of art, but for someone that's really looking for speed and price range and the best bang for your buck, like, I mean, how can you not consider it? That's putting beatings on Ferraris, Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't want to take anything away from those brands are absolutely stunning. But for Chevrolet to produce something like this is just
insane.
It's just it's unthinkable, to be honest. I didn't think it would get there.
This will wind up being a piece of art, like you said, like the Ferraris and stuff like that. Like this will be a piece of art for sure.
I hope so.
Like, I hope
they go that route and kind of make it like that special, not overbuilding and that kind of thing. I think that would be great.
They're definitely not going to overbuild it. I know some dealers are going to get more allocations than others, but there's not going to be a lot of them available.
Let's just hope they do that, because sometimes you can carry away with you're making a lot of money.
And they make a lot.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember the sedan, the SS? Do you remember that? Where they took like a...
Yeah, the manual.
Yeah, it was a V8, just a
badass
sedan.
as hell. Every
dealer only got like one of them a year.
That was Lou Verzelli's favorite car.
Was it?
He might still have one.
Yeah, I mean, they just took, GM's brand Holden from Australia. It was just a Holden, I forget what model. They just took it and made it.
Have you driven one?
No, I've never driven
cool
one ever.
My uncle Paul had one, but
the dealers only got like one a year or whatever it was.
We had a
super
limited.
white
one. We got in a white one and then a black one.
Yeah.
I think that's what Lou had. And I mean, they're cool as hell. They sound good.
But they did that right for, I mean, now their resale value, and they're still just such a cool thing because there's not a lot of them. Like, they didn't produce a lot, and they did it for good reasonings. But, like, so I would imagine and hope that they're going to do that.
I forgot about that car just now. But yeah, that was a pretty cool,
it was a cool car. And they did that right with not producing a lot of them. Yeah,
I mean, this is a different animal in that car, but let's. I think they'll keep it to a small margin, make it fair for certain dealers that sell Corvettes and stuff like that, and then also give the consumer to be. I mean, it's if you ask anyone, every single consumer is excited about it. 100%. Like even if you're not like a Chevy guy.
And if we have customers coming in about it already.
Even if you're not a Chevy guy, oh yeah, we get people messages about.
I know
we have a list just for like Corvettes, like the Z06, like in general.
Yeah, I know we can't order these yet, but I'm curious if people have come in and.
But we keep track of who's reaching out. I mean, this even gets a non-Chevrolet guy to be excited about a vehicle. Yeah. So, which is good. It's good for the brand overall.
What are your friends from Paramus? What do they say?
Which ones?
I don't know. Whoever you said that has Ferraris or whatever.
Oh, that's my buddy. He's not from Paramus. He's actually from up here. But yeah, he was actually very impressed with what they're coming out. I mean, he loves his luxury brands.
Still does, yeah.
But this gets him thinking about it. And for him to get thinking about a Chevrolet is
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal for him for sure.
All right, so let's move on to the one thing that Ford had for the month, which they already had redesigned the 2025 Explorer, like updated front end and stuff. So they already did that, but to make their lineup more cohesive with each other, because you know how like the other trim levels, like the F-150, the Ranger, they have a Tremor edition, which is like an off-road. It's got like orange accents to it. So they're getting rid of the old Timberline edition Expedition, which was like the off-road variant, and it's becoming the Tremor for the first time. So it's just replacing it. I mean, the features are simple, and it's just a streamline. So it
gives it like a cool little rugged look to it too. Our customers like that. If they like that kind of little bit of feeling, like camping kind of feel to it, and it gives that. So, like you said, it's really to streamline their.
Yeah, because they had the Timberline, which had the same type of features.
Tremor sounds cooler than Timberline.
No, it definitely does. So it had the same thing. I don't know if it had the lights in the grille though. I don't know if it had that, but it had the same. The bash plate is the same one from the F-150 Raptor and had the same knobby, 33-inch all-terrain tires. So the Timberline had the same thing, but it just didn't match the rest of their lineup because everything else had a Tremor.
Well, Timberline, I think they were testing that in other countries, that naming.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say that
it probably didn't work, and it just makes more sense to make all of their models have the same name. Think about Chevy, right? Everything has that.
Simplifying.
What is it? ZR1 on the pickup trucks? That's the off-road, right? The Suburban has it. Base Silverados have it, right?
But
no,
simplifying,
Z7, what am I saying?
Simplifying it for consumers is key on this kind of stuff.
I mean, the more names. I want to correct myself. It's Z71 on the Suburban. It's not ZR1 then.
Oh, Z71. Oh, I thought you said Z71. I'm listening.
No, yeah. Z71 is the off-road.
I mean, they've had the Z71 packages too forever too.
And it's the same name on each model though.
Correct.
So that's why Ford is taking that same approach to have them all be Tremors and not have the random naming of Timberline on the Expedition.
Good for consumer. Keeps it simple for them so they can follow the lines. Especially the people that love Ford. But it's also on us that we have to explain these different packages and understand the difference.
And honestly, it's going to make it more simple for our team members to explain the packages. It's like, you want a Tremor? Which model line do you want a Tremor?
1,000%. So one thing I do want to add, which is a luxury brand company of Ford, is Lincoln. The Nautilus just won an award for Motor Trend Car.
That's right,
Motor Trend Car 2024. First off, the luxury that they're putting into those Lincolns is second to none. I'm very, very impressed with what they've done. They've came a long, long way. Beautiful interiors, dashboards, beautiful styling, and I think they're only going to get better. And we're even seeing with our consumers more and more people coming and considering a Lincoln, which is huge. To get them to consider it, 5 years ago, no one was considering it.
I mean, I think to say they come a long way. I remember growing up, and it was like there wasn't much of a difference if you were to get into a Ford and get into a Lincoln. There wasn't like a massive difference.
Now you can tell the difference.
Now it's like it's night and day. Like, it's really incomparable.
Especially there's a little hint at the new 2025 Navigator. They've hinted some photos and all, like some images of it. God knows the price tag on it, but I think they'll do a good job to minimize it. But that is going to be like a spaceship on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write it down.
Or an airplane.
There actually was
an airplane
article.
inside, like on the road. It's going to be stunning.
The Navigator's pricing may have gone up a little bit. I think they start at.
I mean, the interior.
I think they start at like
insane.
102,000 now, something like that. So they did
They'll
up
probably
the
go
price
up to
of the
130,
Navigator.
140, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, but black labels are worth it. It's more than just the vehicle; it's the experience.
I mean, it's like you're riding in it. It's like you're riding in it.
But don't forget, when you buy a black label, you get more offerings from just your.
You do get some more offerings,
like your owning experience going forward.
Yep.
So like buying that $130,000 Navigator comes with more than just the features and colors and stuff. It comes with more than that.
I mean, every Lincoln comes with good stuff now. It's like,
yeah, I mean,
we're doing majority pickup and delivery for all Lincoln
It's funny. Me and my dad were actually just talking about it because I questioned him about Chevy. I'm like, do you think Chevy will ever do a mobile pickup van? He was like, I don't know. He was like, but I don't even know if that's anything that would benefit. And then he just brought up the pickup and delivery. And I was like, it's funny you say that because, like, obviously, because he knows that Lincoln has an entire department for it now because it just took off, like, overnight. Yeah. People absolutely love it. And he had a scenario where he knows what happens with Lincolns, where Laura says that a customer who might have a Nautilus is going to request an Aviator because they want to basically test drive one for their next purchase. And then he had a customer that had a Blazer as a rental, and an interesting situation happened with that. But that customer actually wants now a Blazer for their next purchase. So, right, so now that little light bulb in his head where it's like, hey, like that really does work. When you put a customer in some type of loaner that's not their vehicle, now it intrigues them. It's almost like a extended test drive for them. Obviously, Lincoln's process is totally different with pickup delivery.
and also Lincoln also helps out with like some of the expense because having that many team members, they're all goes in. But do I think it's the best overall for the consumer at the end of the day? I think it's a great service and also lets that consumer know, like, okay, I could send my car off. I don't have to take really that much time out of my day, and they'll communicate with me. So
love it.
I do think overall it's better for the brand and better for our brand of us going the extra mile for that consumer.
Yeah. So now the one thing Stellantis have for the month that was out of nowhere and pretty cool. I mean, they've done this.
Yeah, they pop these random ones in there all the time.
They just keep doing it. I mean, even Car and Driver mentioned something like almost how many of these are they going to do, right? Now, I get what they're doing, right? When you want to talk about resale value over time, making it special going forward, like I get it. But everyone knows like Stellantis, Dodge, Ram, they're getting rid of the V8s.
Yeah,
Dodge is getting rid of them as a whole.
Sad to my heart.
Some of the Ram pickup trucks will continue to have them. Not all of them are going to the, I can't think of what it is, Hurricane 6-cylinder or whatever.
To me, just talking about this.
I know. So Dodge is getting rid of them, but they announced another special edition for the Durango SRT Hellcat. And what is it called? The Brass Monkey Edition. Right, so obviously not much crazy stuff with it, but if you just want to name off a couple things that are coming with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just about that brass color. That's really what they're doing. The brass wheels, the satin-wrapped hood, which everyone loves, which is a cool feature.
Satin-wrapped hood is cool.
Satin-wrapped hood, I should say in Jesus. Brown leather, satin-wrapped hood. And then you have the brown leather seats, which is a cool feature too, because
it's not like a dark brown. I don't know if you looked at the pictures. It's like honestly almost looks like my coffee. It's like a cool color brown. Like it's maybe a little more orangey than that, but it's not like a dark brown.
But yeah, those little features, people that really love the brand, they'll jump on it, and they're gonna make a limited amount. Plus you have probably one of the last chances to get one of those big bad boy motors, which is
price tag of $115,000.
Yeah, just that motor's gonna be missed. I think
when we're
it's
talk about sentimental
sure.
value, I follow this TikTok page, Earth Motor Cars. I think they're in Texas. I don't even remember what is their actual like brand that they have. It might be Lotus. I don't even remember, but they're just like a massive like exotic used car dealer, like huge, like insane cars. And the one guy, they purchased his, I don't remember what the special edition Challenger was. It's like a light baby blue. I don't remember what it was, but they purchased it from him. And when they were getting ready to sell it to another customer, they had to go pick it up from him. And the dude just couldn't part with it. Like, he was like, I ordered this car, like, it's the last one you can get, like, I just can't do it. So, I mean, it was a whole debacle because they technically paid him for the car, but then they had to, like, reverse the whole process. Like, so it was, like, a huge big deal for him. The guy on the phone, he was like, dude, we sent you the money for the car, and he's like, man, I just can't part with it. Like, there's got to be something we can do. And it was just because I wish I could remember what, like, last call edition of the Challenger it was, but because it was the last call edition, he just couldn't, he wound up not parting with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't part with mine's a Trackhawk, not one of last year's build.
Yeah, because what year's yours?
19.
19. What was the last year they built that?
I think that was last year.
That was the last year?
Or 20 maybe, but
I don't know if they did any last editions for the Cherokee, though.
Yeah, but I can't part with it. I can't. I just fixed it up again. I can't part with it. My dad on his Red Eye, he doesn't want to part with it.
Red Eye, which one?
Yeah, he's got the Charger 807 horsepower.
Oh my God, I forgot he had that, honestly.
So he's got.
I haven't seen that thing in forever.
Yeah, he's got that one. He doesn't want to part with that.
I haven't seen that thing in a long time.
So there are. Yep, blue.
Blue, yeah.
Blue black rims.
I haven't
he just
seen
did the black interior with the red seatbelt.
Yeah,
but
I haven't seen a thing in a long time.
that car is kind of matches my Trackhawk, which is nice.
Yeah,
but,
I haven't seen a thing in a long time.
These will be missed.
They will be.
But they'll come up with something crazy,
missed.
hopefully, that I'll enjoy. But
I mean, it's gonna wind up being anything based on those Hurricane 6-cylinders and EVs. Because
they'll probably be fast as hell, though. So.
Well, I mean what is the TRX now going to be called with the 6-cylinder? God,
we can talk about it in the future.
I don't remember. We talked about it before. Man, I forget what they're calling it now. But they did the same thing. Like, they kept the TRX. They just took out the V8 and they put in the Hurricane twin turbo 6-cylinder. It produces like similar horsepower and it's just as fast, but I don't know. Trying to cut down on their emissions and get rid of a V8.
Well, they have to
put in a
because
6-cylinder.
They haven't followed the emissions laws in a while, so
they don't have a choice. I mean, so.
But that's a good little update.
Yeah. So that's
cool stuff.
Those are a couple things that came out this month.
Chevy really producing some new stuff, so.
Yeah, we'll see what they come up with November. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, we had like Hyundai didn't do anything, Kia didn't do anything this month. Mitsubishi. We have some brands that did really do anything. So we'll see what else happens in November. I mean, end of year they usually.
The new year's changing over.
Yeah,
we'll get some more awards out there.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, now with Q4, like they're really gonna probably hone in on what they're gonna do going into 2025.
For sure.
They got to figure out their plans, and don't forget, now they're only 2 quarters away before figuring out what they're gonna announce at the yearly auto shows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those auto shows are massive. I mean, Ford has changed a little bit. They do their own shows, but they all do them in Q1.
They still release a new product. And
they all do it Q1 going into Q2.
They're setting the tone for their future.
So think about that. They only have 2 quarters to figure out what are we going to do to release at these auto shows.
They've figured it out. They just haven't released anything.
So they only got 2 quarters to actually make those announcements, because that's when everyone does their big splash.
They definitely know that they have a plan for sure.
Yeah. So it'll be cool to see what goes on. And that's everything. We'll come back to this, see what happens in November, and
solid. Grip and rip.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and follow us at Healey Brothers on all social platforms.